Hello and welcome to the Storytelling for the Soul podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Kanata, and this is the place we talk about all things expressive writing and other creative techniques, all with a little bit of Buffy the Vampire Slayer thrown in. Buckle up and enjoy. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Storytelling for the Soul podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Kanata, and today's episode is for anyone who's ever dreamed about writing their own book. So I am commencing an 8-week writer's bootcamp on Monday, the 2nd of September, 2024. Now, whether you've always dreamed of writing a book or have started writing but need help to continue, this writer's bootcamp is your compass. From laying the crucial groundwork in the first couple of weeks to developing a consistent writing routine, you'll gain the confidence and skills necessary to bring your story to life. Now, I am a published author. I've published a picture book and I've been widely published across a range of media outlets, including the Huffington Post, The Age here in Australia, Women's Agenda here in Australia, and so on. I understand that you can have a willingness to write, but you can feel incredibly overwhelmed, especially when it comes to writing a book, because let's face it, it's such a massive project. So whether you need help to begin, or maybe you've actually started something, but you've hit a wall pretty quickly, and now you're at the point where you've lost momentum and your confidence. Take it from me, I think as deep thinkers, writers are full of ideas very often. But we can also be paralyzed by self-doubt, perfectionism, or the fear of failure. And speaking of failure, in my view, the only failure is basically never finishing a book. I think the greatest piece of advice I can give to any aspiring writers is to start writing, because if you never start writing, you can obviously never achieve your dream of writing a book. But it's more than start writing, it's continue writing and actually finish the book. You'd be surprised how many people often start writing a book and just simply never finish. I don't want you to allow this to remain a distant dream on your bucket list. And this writer's bootcamp is your pathway to both starting and finishing your book. If you've already started, no worries. We'll pick up from exactly wherever you are at. So throughout this process, I will be guiding you. We'll have weekly Zoom calls. They'll all take place after business hours, Australian Eastern Standard Time. Yes, I am based in Australia. I've set up a private Facebook group dedicated to this particular writer's bootcamp. There is lifetime access to the course material and templates. So I am planning to run this again in the future. So if you join up now, first of all, this is a pay what you can afford offer with a limit of 400 Australian dollars. I don't want cost to be a barrier to entry, but on the same token, I also need to obviously cover my own costs that it's going to take me to run this bootcamp over the next 8 weeks. And that was a long-winded way of saying that when I run this course again, you are very welcome to join future trainings wherever you're at, whether you've written your 1 to 3 chapters that I'm basically framing this entire program around. If you are beyond chapter number 3, you can just pick up from wherever you're at. So if you're at chapter 6, for example, you can just run through chapters 6 to 9 throughout this process. But the really important piece is really the foundational aspects, and that is getting really clear on your why. So why are you writing this book? And basically having a little bit of a pep talk statement on hand when things get rough, because life will get rough, life will get in the way, you'll hit blocks, a number of things could happen, but you've got to have something, a pull, a drive that will keep you going throughout. Now, you can find all of the details. There's an actual rundown of what we cover across each of the 8 weeks on my website. So if you are interested, go to sarahkanata.com/writer-bootcamp. I will pop the link in the show notes, so don't worry if you didn't grab that. Equally, you are very welcome to reach out to me via email with any questions you may have. I'll pop my email address onto the show notes as well, info@sarahkanata.com. And last thing I want to mention before heading off is that I am limiting this to 5 people because I really want this group to be a very intimate, safe, supportive environment. As I said, it's also the first time I've run this program. So I'm limiting this to 5 people. If we don't get 5 people, I will run it with 1 or 2. I'm actually also planning to start writing my own new book at the same time. So I think it's going to be a really fun adventure. If you are keen, please go check out the link. Feel free to contact me, and I look forward to seeing you in the 8 Weeks Writer Bootcamp shortly. Thank you, and I shall speak with you next time.